Hey, welcome back to another energy update for twin flames. This is a message that really wants to come through. This is about how do you know when you're in union, like the true union with your twin flame. So to me, union, the true sense of union, a lot of people think union is about the physical. It's not. Union is getting to the unity consciousness beyond this plane of duality. And sorry if you can hear rustling in the background. It's our kitten chewing on one of his toys. So unity consciousness, or being in like true union with your person, it feels amazing. It's a feeling of peace. It's a feeling of contentment. It's a feeling of you just know you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And you feel balanced, okay? You feel emotionally balanced, and there's harmony within yourself. And if you're really like lucky, the other person is pretty much harmonious as well, because they're in the same energy space as yourself. The union is in the heart. You experience it through your heart chakra, through your heart space. This is where it's like your hearts are these gateways to the oneness, to the higher realms, basically, to your true essence, your true soul nature. So it's easiest to look at what it is to be out of union, out of harmony, out of that oneness, and in polarity. Basically, when you're not in union, you're still in polarity. And it's about perspective. It's about your level of understanding and how well you can overcome ego. How well you can realize that ego and all the outdated belief systems or the false belief systems are an illusion. When you see beyond these ego illusions of separation, then you're in union, basically. And the ego doesn't like to hear that. The ego wants to think that union is about being together with the person in the physical, but this is a deeply spiritual connection to help you come into peace, basically peace within yourself, and higher levels of consciousness where you just feel the peace, you feel the love. When you're in union, you have this balance within yourself to really be in the heart space and feel the love, see the beauty of the connection. But let's get looking into how you know you're out of union or you're not in union. Again, it's about perspective. So when you're out of union, it's basically whenever you're trying to control the situation in any kind of way. So I'm seeing like the Two of Pentacles, normally it shows the person juggling two coins. So this is polarity. So one of the ways you know you're not in union is if you're swinging in one direction, or one of the coins is trying to force the connection, trying to steer it in a certain direction. Often it's about to do with like physical things, wanting physical things, looking outside of self for wholeness, looking for the other to complete you on the outside, okay? Looking in the wrong direction, basically. And on this side of the coin, or this side of the scale, it's like when you're trying to micromanage everything, or you're holding out for them to say, I love you. That's one of the common ones. You're holding out for them to communicate through words that they love you, or you're trying to get into a physical union, or you're trying to get them to prove their love to you. Anytime you're trying to do these kinds of things, you're in a place of lack, and you believe this person doesn't love you, and so that's what's going to mirror back to you. Also, this is all about basically trying to force things to happen, and you're in a lot of resistance, basically. So when you're trying to force things, it can often feel as though you're struggling up this, trying to get up this really tall mountain, and you've got all these weights on your back, and it's a big struggle, but you're so determined. You're going to make it happen. You're going to force it to happen. You're going to move mountains. You think you're in control. You have to do everything in your power. Look, I'm so dedicated. I'm going to force this to happen. And it makes you feel, because you've got to pay attention to how everything makes you feel. You feel like it's that heavy weight. You feel as though it's this impossible mountain to climb. You feel as though eventually I'll get there, and it may take a long time, but I'm getting there. I'm taking these steps. It's a real struggle. It's like basically trying to swim upstream. So this is when you feel a lot of resentments. You feel as though I'm putting in so much work. Why isn't it happening? Why isn't the universe making this happen? And you feel like it's personal. You feel like the universe is showing you that you're not good enough. And then you start believing you just have to be more perfect. You just have to do more work and make it happen, and then it will all manifest. But you basically feel so much heaviness. Everything feels personal. It's like you're trying to really climb up that steep mountain. It's a struggle. You're struggling. So that's one side of the coin. You're in resistance in that kind of way. And then another way to know that you're not in union is if you swing from that extreme to the opposite extreme. You're feeling hurt. You just want this feeling of hurt to go away, because you believe it's all personal when it really, really isn't. So then the other coin that you're juggling in the other hand, you can move into resistance again by saying to yourself, I just got to cut the ties. I've got to stop thinking about this person. I've got to, be in all this resentment. I need to deny this. I need to close my heart down. I need to repress my feelings and be in denial. And just anytime a thought of this person comes up, I've got to push it away. I've got to just turn a blind eye. And you feel like it's a struggle again. That's a real struggle. And it's resistance, and you don't feel good. And you feel all this heartbreak, and it's like that's when the universe keeps throwing you together with this person again, and you're like, why is the universe doing this? I'm trying to get over this person. Why are they throwing us together on our path again? Why is this person reaching out to me again? And basically both sides of this resistance, this polarity, this trying to micromanage things and make it happen, or then the swinging to the opposite, micromanage things by forcing it all to stop and cutting the ties, all of that makes you feel really, really terrible. And you feel stuck. You're stuck in either thinking you can't achieve what you want to achieve, or you can't release what you're wanting to release. But if you're on either side of this polarity, this means you're out of alignment. You're believing too much. There's too much ego going on. You're still existing in this polarity, which is, this is all a natural stage, definitely, of awakening and transcending this and coming into the middle ground, which is where you need to be to find true peace. And that middle ground is the acceptance, basically, and knowing it is what does personal. The middle ground look like? Or this is union. What does unity consciousness look like and feel like? So again, you really have to focus on how you feel, and this takes quite a long time. For me personally, it took many, many years to be able to have this discernment and really notice how I was feeling, if I was trying to force things or deny things, and And also it took many years for me to realize and overcome basically this false belief that everything was personal, when it really, really isn't. We can't force anyone to feel anything that they don't feel. We can't force the universe to make something happen in our limited perception of what we think should happen. It's too limited. Another aspect of this process is learning to let go of thinking that we know what's best or we know what's meant to happen. This is all about surrender, basically. This is what surrender means. You know, they talk about the surrender stage in twin flame connections. In all honesty, I'm not sure if I believe in all these stages and stuff like that, but surrender, this does tie in with surrender. What is surrender? Again, for many years I didn't truly understand what surrender really, really was, and you have to really integrate it. You have to really experience it and go through it in order to achieve that. We can't just have like a conceptual understanding or think we know what that means until we actually get to a place where we are in that surrender, in that unity consciousness. So surrender, that can trigger the ego as well. Surrender, it can make you think like, oh, I'm just waiting, I'm just, you know, giving up and waiting. Again, that's, if you're triggered by that, that's okay. Again, it's another stage of it, but that triggering is like you're still waiting for something outside of yourself to come in and make you complete. And I understand how all these stages are so horrendous. I've really, really been there, and I'm still human. So every now and then, yeah, I will fall into a little bit of unconsciousness, and I'll fall a bit into trying to micromanage or trying to deny a little bit. But another really important thing is about learning to be brutally honest with yourself. Don't spend years gaslighting yourself. That's what I did. So, if this is your true twin flame or a powerful soul connection, they obviously do love you. And you can only really understand that fully when you're in this unity consciousness, when you're, you know, not focusing through the ego in all these, in these two different polarities of trying to force yourself to, or force the connection in some kind of way, or deny it. You can only truly understand your person's true feelings for you when you have this balance within yourself, when you're in the middle ground beyond the polarity, when you're in the heart space. So be brutally honest with yourself. This means that you have to be okay if in your intuition someone, you know that someone doesn't really love you, but your mind's trying to tell you, oh, they do this, that and the other meant that they love me, or they have a funny way of showing they love me, but that they still love me. This action, that action, the other action that was hurtful, this proves, you know, we can sometimes twist things around to prove that, and tell ourselves that proves that they love me. But if it's your twin flame or soulmate, I'm not saying they don't love you, but just be, you need to be okay. Basically what I'm trying to get at is not basing your sense of self-worth on anyone outside of yourself, what they are doing, what they aren't doing, you know, in terms of what your ego wants or how your ego thinks things should be. Try your hardest to be neutral. So you need to work a lot on your self-love, and you know, there's all aspects of that, and it can take many years. So you know, it's a bit too much to go into all of that in this video here, but when you get to more and more self-love, it's basically when you realize that things aren't personal. All this micromanaging, trying to make something happen, is because you have this deep down belief that you're unlovable or you're unworthy, and you need that person on the outside of yourself to prove to you that you are lovable and that you're good enough. Once you get over that, You can be a lot more in that state of surrender. You can sort of be like, have the attitude of, it is what it is. Or, you know, if someone does something that would have previously really triggered you and made you hurt and take it so personally, you're no longer in that place. You let it go. You know, you're not allowing those outside experiences to cling to you and creating these stories that it's something about you where you're not good enough. You just let it go. You know, oh, it's not personal. And you know that it can be extremely challenging to get to that stage if it's a really powerful connection that you have with someone. So being brutally honest is about that, but it's also about on the other coin, being brutally honest that there is this divine connection, and you can't control it in terms of trying to push it away. It's all about coming into the middle ground. It's all about finding the peace within, and then you find the peace within the connection as well. So how to know when you're in the true sense of union with your person? Again, it's in truth got nothing about the physical. This is a soul connection. It's meant to awaken us to our soul, our true identity, beyond this polarity plane of the earth where we have the false self, and there is like all these polarities. The middle ground, the balance of the yin and the yang, the balance of the divine masculine. This is all pointing at that balance within the middle ground, the unity consciousness, the truth of love, where there is no opposite. There is no opposite to the true meaning of love, which is what your connection represents. You're in true union when you're in the flow state. You are balanced. You trust the divine. You trust that you are exactly where you need to be. You're in the present moment. You know, these polarities, when you're trying to micromanage and make something happen, that is in the polarity of focusing on the future. When you're trying to push the person away, cut the ties, and just avoid feeling what you're feeling and put an end to things, that is trying to put something in the past. Unity consciousness, true union, is when you're in the present moment and you're peaceful in the present moment. You trust that whatever it is where it is, exactly where you and your person are supposed to be. And it may be helpful to, you know, if you have these desires in your mind, and again, I'm not trying to judge you for this, but if you have these desires in your mind to want to force or cling on to creating something in the physical realm with this person, ask yourself, because likely in the physical there'll be 1,000,001 obstacles. So you've got to ask yourself, does it feel right? And would the universe bring us together like this, with all these apparent like obstacles, and make it such a challenge to be together in the 3D if we were meant to be in union right now, or, you know, even in the future? You know, never say never, but again, you have to be open to all possibilities. The possibilities that you may never be with this person in the physical, the possibility that you may be. You've got to get comfortable with the unknown. You've got to be comfortable, again, with just living in the present moment. The ego wants to cling on to the future and feel secure in believing that something's definitely going to happen in the future. That's what the ego wants. But it doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel restless. It makes you feel like you're holding on. It makes you feel as though you're in resistance to the present moment somewhat. So yeah, you have to ask yourself, does it feel good, because when you're in the union consciousness, you feel bliss. When you're in the presence consciousness, the present moment, and full acceptance, you feel peace. So when you're trying to force something to happen and you're looking at all the obstacles and you feel that resistance, like you're trying to go up that huge mountain, does that feel good? Or how does that make you feel? Because 9 times out of 10 it's going to make you feel terrible and like the future's unknown, but you want to know what's going to happen, so you're trying to cling on to it, or you're trying to make it happen so your ego can find some sort of peace in knowing that there's going to be some sort of conclusion. But again, that's a false sense of security. The true peace is when you're happy with the unknown and trust in the divine, that whatever happens, happens. Whatever is right now, it is right now. So again, looking at the other coin of when you're trying to push the connection away, when you're trying to deny it, when you're trying to escape these painful feelings, if this is a true twin flame connection or soulmate connection, or any kind of connection where you need to learn the bigger picture of it, if you are, trying to push it away and cut the ties, again, 9 times out of 10, I bet that feels like a real struggle. And that's the other end of the spectrum of resistance. You feel the pain, you're denying your heart, you're denying your truth, you're trying to push everything down or push everything to the back of your mind. There's this, you have to put a lot of effort in. Because that's when you're in polarity, when you're out of union, you feel like you're having to put in so much effort, and it's a struggle. When you're in true union, it's effortless, because it just is. You're in the flow, you're trusting, you're in your heart space, basically. Because when you're in polarity, when you're in supposed separation, when you're, micromanaging or trying to push it away, your mind, you're in the ego. The ego cannot understand unity consciousness. The ego is all about this polarity. It's about me and the outside world. Whereas the heart space is what connects everyone and everything. It's oneness. When you're in union, you've got to a place where you trust what your heart feels beneath all of these stories in the mind. You don't need fixed conclusions, because in the heart space, everything is about flow. It's not about resistance. Fixed conclusions is resistance. So you have to learn how to discern basically what feels good. Because when you're feeling good, when you're feeling peace, when you're feeling blissful, regardless of outside circumstances, that bliss within is you being conscious. You're in the unity consciousness, you're in the vibration of love, where there is no separation. There is no opposite to this true experience or the true meaning of love, what love truly is. There's no opposite. And in that place, in that heart space, you feel all the love, all the love, because you are that, and this is where your person's soul resides. And it's so profound, and you just know, it's like a knowing feeling. You just know it's the truth. And it can take a while for the layers of ego to dissolve so that you really are at peace within this heart space. So to quickly recap, does it feel like a massive struggle trying to force something to happen with your person in the 3D? Equally, does it feel like a massive struggle trying to push the connection away? And if you're in any kind of struggle, then you're out of alignment with the truth. So, Spirit is guiding you. Your own intuition, your own soul is guiding you to realize, this doesn't feel good trying to make things happen. It doesn't feel good on the deeper level within the heart. It may feel good to the ego because it's believing you're assuring some sort of outcome by putting in all this work. But it doesn't feel good in the heart. And trying to deny your truth completely, trying to deny this love, escape the pain, escape the connection, run away, that feels very painful. It feels like a complete struggle because you're just completely trying to deny your truth, which is impossible. So this all sounds like that traditional runner and chaser label. This is what that's basically about, runner and chaser. And you can be both. Most people, they go through stages of both. And the true surrender is when you've evolved enough. And again, you can't force yourself to evolve to that level before you go through all of these lessons and that inner discernment and developing your own intuition and developing how to really work with energy and understand energy and how you feel. So I feel really, really blessed because I had a connection where I was very active in that connection. And what I mean by that is I was either trying to force things to happen or deny it and push it away. I wasn't at peace with it. That was a very, very intense connection. And it was there's profound love within that connection. No denying that. I'm not saying it was just about lessons. Profound love. You know, that's what's really got me to where I am today. And I feel blessed because I was trying to force that to happen for about 7 years. And then it took about 3 years for me to heal into a full place of acceptance and surrender and release of that. And then I was finally at peace. And then that's actually when this really beautiful connection that I have currently has come in, where I'm really feeling that I'm in this union, where I just feel so much peace. I'm not trying to micromanage it on either sides of the spectrum of polarity. For the most part, this is like me being able to receive all of this love, all of this truth, and it's been so enlightening as well, and it feels amazing, and it feels really harmonious because it's a reflection of where I've got to in my evolution, in my own healing. And it feels truly blissful to just be in the flow within this connection and just allow whatever happens to happen without holding on to the future, without trying to push it into the past. It is what it is. And it's absolute like heaven on earth. It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, I got into union with myself in many, many ways. Like, I learned what my worth is. I learned that it wasn't personal. I learned to love myself truly by surrendering all of the old stories that was keeping me stuck in that previous connection, in a place of so much pain. When I was finally brutally honest with myself that I cannot control things, I cannot force someone to be this, that, or the other to prove my worth to me on the outside. And when I knew that that wasn't a reflection of my worth, I released that. I surrendered it and still remained having an open heart, because I had, it was, by that point it'd gone on for 7+ years, and it's been like 10 years now. But by that point I did know that the love is very real beneath the ego. So I did have that understanding, but it wasn't until I fully released holding on tightly, or holding on in any kind of way. I wasn't trying to push it away, but I just surrendered it. I just released making the idea of something in the 3D to mean something that it didn't, basically. And then, wow. After a decade of learning that, and it being a really, really, really profound and beautiful experience, and learning so much from that is when this other connection has entered my life. And I just feel blissful, like so blissful. There's no amount of words to describe how heavenly it is to be in surrender, like in this connection. That feels like I'm in my truth. I'm in my soul truth. And so much abundance comes in because of that. I'm able for the most part, to be in my heart center. And I feel most definitely that this other person is very balanced overall, is very balanced and very open-minded, very open-hearted, and is like a reflection of myself in that way. And that I feel this person has this understanding as well, about being in the flow state, being in that open state of receptivity. And it's union. It's that gateway to our true soul selves, our higher selves, soul family, and the infinite, like, universe, beyond this plane of duality. So I really hope that this has been helpful. Maybe like triggering to some, but hopefully it's triggered some of you in like a really good way, or been a confirmation for many of you that you have come so far on your healing journey as well. So thank you so much. Have a really good day. Take care. Bye.